The sparkling water company, Liquid Death, seemed to have popped up onto the scene out of nowhere and into the hands of our favorite YouTubers and influencers. And since then, Liquid Death has kind of become commonplace in today's culture. So when I saw a video titled How Liquid Death's founder started a $700 million water brand, I was extremely interested. And in this video, the co-founder of Liquid Death reveals something kind of concerning about another major drink company.
One exercise that we still do today, we ask the question, what is the dumbest possible idea we could do for this? Because our brains are wired to just repeat things that we've seen be successful in the past. You kind of have to trick your brain to come up with a bad idea to truly be thinking in sort of like innovative territory.
That's a really interesting thought. I know as a creative, there's definitely a status quo to how to do something. And you see this on YouTube a lot. You'll just see a guy pop up with a small channel, a microphone, put some blue LED lights in the back and like start doing commentary videos. And like every single other person has done that. So something you will notice is that the co-founder of Liquid Death will keep dropping these super insightful marketing techniques that I feel like honestly anybody could use.
This is 40-year-old entrepreneur Mike Cesario. And when he devised the brand name for his product, he came up with something unconventional.
What's the dumbest possible name for a super healthy, safest beverage possible? Liquid Death.
Wow.
Probably the dumbest name.
Yeah, Liquid Death. Water. In a can. Dumb name, skulls on the packaging. But according to Mike, the co-founder and CEO of Liquid Death, that's part of the reason why his company has brought in nearly $130 million in sales this year alone.
If I saw that in a store, or if someone I knew saw that in a store, I'm pretty sure they're gonna have to pick that up and be like, what is this? And once someone picks something up, you basically won.
That's an insight into the retail business. Once someone picks something up, you pretty much won. It definitely is a crazy, crazy idea to make a water that looks like not just an energy drink, but almost like a beer. And you know what's even worse? What's arguably more disturbing is that they have a Liquid Death, and I think this is the original one, that is not sparkling water. I do not want to drink flat anything coming out of a can. So luckily they have a sparkling water, and they have a bunch of sparkling waters now. The branding couldn't be more polarizing from plain water to like a crazy beer.
There's three numbers to watch out for in Mike's story. 3 million, the number of views that Liquid Death's first commercial got on Facebook.
Sheesh.
100,000, the amount of sales that Liquid Death made in its first month. And 195 million, the total amount of funding that Liquid Death has raised. Here's how much...
I still feel weird. Like there's got to be an alternative route than getting investors. But at the same time, if you have this huge profit right out of the gate, does it justify it?
Here's how Mike Cesario took a funny idea he once had for a commercial and turned it into a $700 million brand. Instead of pursuing a music career, Mike opted to attend the Art Center College of Design in Pasadena, California, studying graphic design and eventually advertising.
I just wanted to make people laugh, which is what really attracted me to advertising, because it seemed like it was more of a place for humor and comedy than graphic design was.
He is 40 years old. So I wonder if he would still recommend people to go to college today to like learn advertising. You know, I know it's so different. A lot of them are going to teach advertising on billboards and stuff like that. But I don't know if they're going to teach like modern advertising techniques, or even if they do, if they're going to be like the best practitioners of it. Like, you know what the saying is, those who can't do, teach. So I wonder if he would still recommend school, especially with how completely messed up that whole college system is, for a creative venture.
A friend of Mike's put him on the backstage list for the Warp Tour in Denver, Colorado. Many of the bands were sponsored by Monster Energy.
I was just hanging out with them, and we saw these, stacks of what looked like, Monster. These guys.
Okay, so he is backstage with the bands. Check what he says next about this supposed Monster Energy drink.
Drinking it, and it turns out like, oh, it's actually not Monster, it's water, because these guys don't actually want to drink these energy drinks. And I remember thinking that was kind of messed up. I'm like, man, that's so sort of sneaky. It's like at that time, it was really only energy drinks who were throwing money at these guys, so they kind of had to take it. But at the same time, it started making me think about, why aren't there more healthy products that still have funny, cool, irreverent branding?
So Monster Energy makes canned sparkling water or canned water just for their sponsored events, just for their talent that promotes them. Because the talent, when you're on stage, doesn't need like 100 grams of sugar and 1,000 milligrams of caffeine. That's going to make them die. And he caught that they put water in the freaking cans, yet advertise to the people watching like it's actual Monster Energy.
Because most of the funniest, memorable, irreverent branding marketing is all for junk food. Bud Light, Dos Equis, Snickers, Doritos, Red Bull. And that was, I think, planted the early seed of probably what ultimately ended up becoming Liquid Death.
Mike put his theory about funny advertising to the test while working at a firm in Nashville, Tennessee. The health food brand Organic Valley wanted them to come up with an ad campaign for their protein shake.
They were talking to like bros in the gym who are looking to, put on muscle. Like that's a big part of like the protein market. And they knew they had to market differently.
Oh, snap. Oh, damn. I didn't realize I was being filmed.
Those guys than they did like organic moms that they did most of their other products to. So venturing outside their comfort zone, we pitched them this idea of Save the Bros.
Every day, millions of bros drink protein shakes in order to get jacked, yoked, and totally swole. But most bros are unaware of the scary chemicals and artificial ingredients inside these shakes.
And they almost killed the idea right before.
Save the Bros for organic protein. And so they shot it like one of those dog commercials. That's creative.
It went live, and then we launch it, and it goes completely viral.
But despite success in advertising, Mike still struggled creatively. So he decided to create his own brand, where he could control the marketing.
The only way the brand would have a chance at survival is the actual product itself has to be so insanely interesting, where so much of the marketing is baked into the product. Where if someone sees this on the shelf, am I willing to bet they have to pick it up because it's so weird or interesting, and then they're probably gonna take their phone out, take a photo of it, and post it on their social channels for free to their hundreds of followers.
That's a blend of like attention grabbing in marketing and art, right? Because a lot of traditional artists are like, no, man, everyone just has a short attention span, and no one really cares about real art nowadays. Whereas the blend is like, I don't know, man. But I feel like they have really interesting art on a lot of their stuff. So that's a pretty cool mix.
The idea was viable. Mike decided to produce a commercial for it, despite having 0 cans in production.
We designed a 3D render of a can that looked real. I came up with a commercial idea for this brand that we shot for like $1,500. We put a few $1,000s in paid media to push the video out and to push the posts out over the course of maybe like 3 or 4 months.
Don't fall for the marketing bull. Water is not yoga. Water is liquid death.
4 months in, the video had 3
that's
million
amazing.
views. The page had almost 80,000 followers, which was more than Aquafina on Facebook at the time. And we had hundreds of messages and comments from people being like, this is the greatest thing ever. Where do I get this? Is this real? A 7-Eleven franchisee in Michigan reach out. How do I get this in my store? So then I use all of that sort of social traction to then actually go get people to take me seriously.
That is genius. So he never even had a physical product and shot the commercial for it and then made like, I guess it went viral, right? He did a main thing, which I see a lot of really successful people do, which is they create a proof of concept first. Instead of putting all your eggs in a basket and spending a couple $1,000s on this one thing, like, do you have a proof of concept? Do you know people are going to be interested in it? So he said he used that social traction to then go and get partners and probably that's where he got the $193 million in funding.
They're on track to hit $130 million by the end of this year.
One of the
Let's
most
freaking
surprising things to everybody with this was how wide the audience really was for something like this. Hundreds of parents who message us on social saying, thank you, Liquid Death, you finally got my 9-year-old excited to drink water instead of soda.
Hey man, if you are struggling to get your 9-year-old to drink water because they want to drink soda instead, that shouldn't be a real parent problem. You gotta figure that out. You gotta do we need to reintroduce spankings? I know that's not PC, or is that just natural selection at that point? Like, hey kiddo, you don't drink water. You're definitely not getting soda. So you can protest all you want, but in 48 hours, you're gonna need that, and you're gonna want it. We gotta create a standard where kids go through more, right? They need to like go on a three-day backpacking excursion where they have to filter their own water, right? They need to be in a position where they need to be suffering a little bit. Because if soda is seen as a replacement, to me, soda is a replacement for like ice cream. It is not a beverage.
Construction worker guy who goes to a 7-Eleven and typically buys 2 energy drinks now might be buying 1 energy drink and actually going and buying a Liquid Death.
Mike says that it's creating an emotional connection to a brand that drives consumers.
People think that taste is why things are successful or unsuccessful, or why one brand is better than another. All the data shows that is not even close to the case. Monster didn't become a $50 billion company because it tastes so much better than Red Bull. Most people probably couldn't pick out an energy drink in a blind taste test if their life depended on it. Our brand is all about comedy and making people laugh. You know, we're not tying our brand to some specific niche like action sports. So I think as long as we're constantly just riffing on culture, this can go basically for as long as something like Saturday Night Live is relevant, because you're literally just a part of culture and making people laugh. At the end of the day, we're really creating an entertainment company and a water company.
That is insane. What an amazing insight. Is that it's not about the product. Some people obsess over the product so much. It's like, maybe it's not about the water. So their whole strategy is literally, we can water, we're a fun company, and people will enjoy our products as long as we stay entertaining. So it's like they're a media company. So when I see that type of video, I think of what can I apply to myself? I think one of the biggest takeaways was, what's the dumbest thing you can do? And then do that. Translation, think outside the box. And the second most interesting takeaway is that he views his company as an entertainment company, and it's about connection and relevance more than how amazing the product is. And so it makes you think, are you overthinking what your product is versus are you underthinking how much marketing and how much that stuff matters and how much impacting an audience matters? So I thought that was super insightful. That is the man behind the water. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like, subscribe, drop me a comment. Have you ever had Liquid Death? I think Mango Chainsaw is trash, son. Peace.